Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with Paper Rose, and we're going to do a little ink smushing, a little die cutting, and we're going to have lots of fun. So the product that I'm going to be using today, or die, let's call it a die, is the Mandala Circle metal die. And then we're going to add the Sentiment Hugs going across it. Very much of an earthy, autumny feel when it comes to the ink smushing that we're going to do. So I've pulled out some of my go-to colors. Now I've changed one of my go-to colors because I've added lumberjack plaid for the red. Love that red. It's a red. Some fossilized amber. We're going to use espresso and villainous potion and forest moss. And we are just going to ink smush away. Yes, as these colors meld together, yes, you will get some browns, but that's okay. I'm going to make 4 panels because sometimes when the first one, it's like pancakes. You know, when you make the first one, that's usually the one that you nibble on as you're making the rest. I know, some people say that's the one you usually throw away. No, we don't throw away pancakes. But it's just something that we're going to do differently. And you can see that. So the first one is the one that's all the way on the left. The last one is the one that's already on the right. You can see how the one on the right looks more watercolory. And the one on the left looks more splotchy, splattered. And that's usually what I'm going for when it comes to my ink smushing. I always use a silicone mat because the water, it'll bead up. You want your inks and the water that you add to bead up. The less water you add, the more beading and dots that you'll have on your cardstock. The more water you add, the more watercolor-ish it will look like. If you don't use a silicone mat as you're doing ink smushing, it will have a watercolor effect. So just some real quick tips on the way that I do ink smushing. You can see here that I'm still able to see the greens and the browns, and if I want to add another color, I can do that off to the side. As I keep layering on some of these panels, I'm getting them to where I want them to be. The colors aren't going to be in the exact spot, but if you let each layer dry in between, even though these are water reactive inks, you will get the semblance of the color that you're looking for. So I find this is my other therapy. So one of my therapies in creating is tearing paper. I think it's awesome. It's a wonderful feeling. And just creating backgrounds with ink smushing. I think the color combinations you can have fun with, try different things, and just sit back, relax, grab some scrap cardstock, and have at it. The cardstock that I am using is Canson XL Bristol Vellum. It's a lot of water that you're putting on your card, and the Bristol Vellum just handles it beautifully. Yes, you can use watercolor paper. Of course, that's going to handle water as well. Once I'm done ink smushing, gotta add some splatters. Gotta have fun adding the splatters. And I'm doing that with each of the colors that I'm putting down. I also will splatter with water because again, these are reactive inks and the water will actually get through to that paper and have fun creating areas of those blooms and everything else. I also come in with my P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. Because that's going to mix well as well. Add a little bit of water to that and just have fun splattering it. Just by adding that white, it changes the look of these panels. My opinion. Just saying. Just saying. But if you look close, you can see each of the colors. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Choosing one was very tough. And I think the one in the bottom left-hand side is the one that we are going to go with. There are 2 separate dies in this set. So I'm going to shift the main circle down just a little bit, and then I'm going to use the top corner for the center medallion of this mandala. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And you can see we have a perfect cut. I just love the image when it comes out. And then we're going to, I like to clean my dies before. Sometimes, mainly I do. This time I felt the need to clean it. And I just use a pokey tool, get all those little bits out. Or you can just literally bang it on your table and they will pop out too. Although cleaning them up is not good. So we're going to get our plates out of our way. And we're going to start layering our piece. So what's wonderful is the main die, the large one, it doesn't do the cutout. It keeps that solid. And then the piece that's sitting in the center, you can create that dimension. And that's what we're going to do. I use the Hugs Fine Script Sentiment. And I die cut the background in white. And then the sentiment itself in black. I have a piece of scrap black cardstock here, and I'm just going to put that to the back and use my scissors to cut around that on an angle so the black stays underneath the circle here. If you have a die, you can certainly find a die that matches this. I just thought this was easier than digging and looking for that. I'm going to prop this center medallion up. And because it's a different area of the panel, you could add some ink around it if you want to make that stand out more. But just by using a different area, you can still see that it's separate. And plus, I'm putting the sentiment straight across that as well. The openings in this are great. So I chose a piece of brown cardstock. And I'm just taking my ink pad and swiping along the sides and then dipping it into my embossing powder, and we are going to get this heat set. So just adding some metallic on the edge of the cardstock. Again, nothing perfect. I'm good with the scratchiness and the craziness of what the edge of that pad is doing as I'm just scraping it along. Don't want anything perfect, want it completely imperfect. To me, that adds interest. Now, you could just go along the straight edge, and then you would have this beautiful fine line of gold going around that edge. I'm going to place that down onto our standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then we're just going to add our glue to the main center and then along the outside using just some small dots. And then making sure we get that on there straight. So I think with the gold and that brown, this mandala just really pops off our front of our card. And then we're going to add some gold pearls to the front as well. And you can have a lot of fun with this, adding the different sizes in the holes that have already been placed there. So here's what our final card looks like. I hope you enjoyed today's project. Hope I gave you some ideas for your stash and what you have on how you can do that ink smooshing and just simply die cut that image and you'll have a beautiful card front. The products that I use will be listed down below. By all means, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and ring the bell so that you're notified when the next video is live and ready for you to watch. But most of all, enjoy the process creating your art. I will always say that and continue to say that. It's a fun craft. Enjoy it. Don't stress. just have fun getting inky. And that's what we did today together. But most of all, always remember what is most important. Always be creative, guys. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.